But okay, his point is, let's not be cruel. You can find out how people are performing on their job without sending a gimmicky email that is only going to get, you're going to get false positives. You're going to get people who are bad performers responding to the email and good performers not responding to the email. And what does that tell you, Scott?
The premise of your question is that there are thousands of federal workers who are lazy and dishonest. You're saying that if people respond, then they're trying to game the system of the...
In this video, Scott Jennings does what he does best, owns a CNN panel of idiots. Scott Jennings talks about the legitimacy of the email sent from Trump's administration to the federal workers and shuts up the squawking liberal panel that includes The View's Anna Navarro. With that, let's watch Scott Jennings make light work of a bunch of CNN fools.
I want to dispel this myth that federal employees are some lazy, bureaucrats that don't show up for their work. Listen, 85% of federal workers work outside of Washington, D.C. Those are people who work at our national parks. Those are people who work on, the ag departments in farm bureau states. Those are people who are taking care of Medicaid and processing payments for people in red states like where Donald Trump lives. So we need to stop being so cavalier, Scott, about people and whether they're working or not and how come they're so upset about getting an email. Because these are people's livelihoods.
Because some are being cavalier.
You have the privilege of sitting here getting a six-figure paycheck from CNN.
And I have to show up every day. And I have to show up and earn it. And I have to show up and earn it.
As public servants, and they do the same.
And I have to show up.
And the fact that you assume that they don't is obnoxious and insulting to those people.
They're not showing up and earning it?
They're good servants.
Hold on.
Why are you assuming that they are?
Hang on. Hold on, Joe. Let me play for you just because apparently you think that it's only Anna and Tara who are concerned about this. Here's John Curtis talking about this yesterday.
If I could say one thing to Elon Musk, it's like, please put a dose of compassion in this. These are real people. These are real lives. These are mortgages. It's a false narrative to say we have to cut and you have to be cruel to do it as well. We can do both.
There's nothing
cool. Hold on.
Okay, wait a minute.
Joe and Scott and Tara, we all cannot speak at the same time. But, okay, his point is, let's not be cruel. You can find out how people are performing on their job without sending a gimmicky email that is only going to get, you're going to get false positives. You're going to get people who are bad performers responding to the email and good performers not responding to the email. And what does that tell you, Scott?
The premise of your question is that there are thousands of federal workers who are lazy and dishonest. You're saying that if people respond, then they're trying to game the system of a gimmicky email. That's number one. And I don't necessarily believe that.
On the planet.
Okay,
there's nothing.
But there's nothing. That's not how you evaluate people, by asking them to send you a.
Everyone who has spoken in this clip does not live in reality, except Scott Jennings. Some people are going to lie about what they do, and you'll get a false positive, and then good workers won't respond. So she put federal workers into two groups. One is a group of liars, and one can't respond to an email. So they're either a liar or lazy. I spent over 20 years working for, majority of the time, Fortune 100 companies. In every job I've had, at the minimum, this is like a weekly job. Oh, and to be clear, they're talking about the email that the Trump administration sent out asking federal employees to tell them what they'd gotten done. And I think it asked for 3 or 5 bullet points. This is at the minimum like a weekly thing in every job I've ever had. Talk about what's going well, what's not going well, what resources you need to help. If not, even when it is weekly, you might be doing it day by day, talking about, all right, here's where I'm going to be. It's just communication among the team. Like, again, here's where I'm going to be. Here's why I'm there. Here's what I'm hoping to achieve. Here's what I'm following up from last week. It's not like a babysitting thing. It's so the whole team's in communication about what each one's doing. If there are complementary activities, maybe you can help one another. If there are conflicting things, well, it doesn't make sense for you to go there and him to go there. Let's combine that trip or use one of you somewhere else. And I'm being real vague because this can apply to any job, but sending an email asking about what you do in a government that we know is bloated, I can't believe we're having this conversation. They're acting like he asked them all to learn how to change the transmission on their car in 45 minutes, like some impossible task. This is the easiest thing that's ever been asked of anyone. What? I wish you could see my face right now. how is this cruel? I guess I'll just say this. It shows with that last statement that I started out with that some people are going to lie about it. Some people aren't going to respond. I believe the email said something to the effect of a non-response will be taken as, you don't do anything and you'll lose your job or something like that. So I don't think anyone can argue that someone saw the email and said, oh, this isn't serious. I think the seriousness is pretty clear. Anyway, sorry. Where I was going was that last question about, or that last statement or question suggesting that half the workers are either lazy or dishonest. And then the woman said, they're just like every other person in America. That's what they think normal people's default mindset is laziness or to lie. Really, I can't take that any other way. To me, I get an email like that, and some people say, but it's from like Elon Musk, not the person they report to. Who gives a shit? It's on behalf of the President of the United States. I'd say that's a pretty important email to respond to. And it would take you, even if you're doing your job at like 50%, it would take you a minute, 2 minutes to come up with what you've been working on. It's crazy.
Random email.
They're not being evaluated. They're simply being asked, what 5 things did you do last week? It is a simple question. And the fact that no one seems to want to answer it tells me
no.
more than
Can we put this in context, though? This is after, just in the first few days of the administration, they received a buyout offer that then wasn't really a buyout offer. Then it was very confusing.
No, now, it's not. They got a buyout if they want.
There's colleagues all over the country being fired in a haphazard way. There's probationary workers being fired, supposedly for performance issues when nobody is actually evaluating their performance. Then this email goes out. Then the agency heads say, no, don't answer the email. Don't you find it a little bit? Don't you think it would be a little bit stressful right now to be a federal worker, to be a park ranger? Yes.
And there
to be a federal
worker. It's a hell of a lot more stressful than
this is episode number 175. Democrats dying on
Joe, Tara, and Scott, and Anna. Everybody, hold on one second.
Your colleagues fired. It is stressful to be working
at
the
NIH. That's a lie.
It is stressful to be.
Not one. Name one.
Elon Musk tonight.
I read it in the Miami Herald this
hang
weekend.
On a second. Elon Musk tonight, just to add to the confusion about this, to be honest, he sent out another message on X saying the email requested was utterly trivial, as the standard for passing the test was to type some words and press send. Okay. Yet so many failed even that inane test and urged on, in some cases, by their managers. Have you ever witnessed such incompetence and contempt for how your taxes are being spent? Makes old Twitter look good. Did not think that was possible. There was also some indication that maybe they might have more time. So
Elon
can
also
they get
put
their
out
story straight?
But he also put out a Twitter that said that, Donald Trump now has given them a second chance for the people who didn't respond the first time, and that's the second chance. Like, first of all, let's get this straight. Elon Musk, no one elected him. Doge is a fake, illegal operation that the courts will decide because it's being litigated what they're doing. Also, people who are working at the federal...
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
Federal government, the cruelty of this are people who have just graduated from college or just finished their master's or came from PhD programs, and now they're being told by NASA or by HHS or by NIH after they move their lives to wherever to be public servants, and they're told now, well, no, pack up, you gotta go. This is happening indiscriminately across our government. That is cruel, it's unnecessary, it's dangerous, and when our own agencies are telling us that malign actors, are we just ignoring that
thinks
part?
It's cruel to get an email from your boss asking, hey, what did you accomplish?
Elon Musk is not their boss.
No one thinks that's cruel.
He works for the president.
No one thinks that's cruel. He is. If he's appointed by the president,
work for him?
He is their boss. There's $271 billion
Joe,
of federal
you said
spending.
no one, but that's not the case, okay? Here's Lisa Murkowski, also a Republican senator. She says he should get to know each department and agency, she's talking about Elon, and learn about the jobs he's trying to cut. Our public workforce deserves to be treated with dignity and respect for the unheralded jobs they perform. The absurd weekend email to justify their existence wasn't it.
We deserve a better accounting of the $271 billion we spend in a federal payroll.
Totally agree.
If someone cannot answer a simple
that's what
email,
Congress is
saying,
for.
hey, are you alive?
That's Congress's job.
Joe, I actually think you're 100% correct about that. There should be an accounting, but that's not this.
That's Congress's job. That's the Inspector General's job that they fired.
Elon Musk's
How does
job.
this tell you anything about what's going on with the government?
Can I
again?
Elon Musk knows what the government runs.
What is it telling you,
The
Joe?
argument that this was gimmicky.
What is it telling you
is
about
okay.
where the money is being?
Lisa Murkowski said that these federal workers should be applauded for the unheralded jobs that they do. We're talking about a ton of workers. How do you know that they all do unheralded jobs? What are you talking about? I'm sure there are some that do, But there are many that have a very lazy attitude like, hey, I can never get fired, so I can do the bare minimum to get by, and I have nothing to worry about. Well, guess what? Free ride's over, as it should have been from the beginning. And I'm tired of this Doge is fake and illegal, and Elon Musk wasn't elected. Companies have third-party auditors come in all the time to improve efficiency at a company. If you received an email from an auditor identical to the one that Elon Musk sent to federal employees, would you ignore it because that's not my boss, I don't have to respond to them? Of course not. Elon Musk has been appointed by the president to make things run more efficiently. What a terrible argument. I haven't heard a single good argument here on why this is quote unquote gimmicky or cruel. I mean, and it shows how far out of touch the idiots that are complaining about this at this table are from the average American. Do they not understand this happens in the private sector every single day? I don't wish bad luck on anyone. If our federal tax dollars are going to people that don't do their job, then sorry, I don't have a ton of sympathy. But to people that are hard workers, I don't think they have anything to worry about. And I'm not saying this should happen, but let's say there's a really solid worker that gets let go during this and gets caught up in the whole, cutting of staff. If they're as good a worker as this panel is suggesting that every federal worker is, they will get another job, no problem. People notice hard workers and people who are effective at their job. They'll have tons of references. They'll have a full resume of success and accomplishments, but that is a very rare case. Bottom line is, if I concede to this panel of idiots that, yeah, there are some really hardworking, amazing workers in our federal government, and I do concede that. I mean, just statistically speaking, that has to be true, right? Or nothing would ever get done. But then can they concede that there are just as many incompetent morons that really try to game the system and do as little as possible to get a free ride? See, I can't stand arguing with someone from the left because that's always how it goes. If I concede anything trying to make a point, they would always come back and go, no, you don't know that. You don't know. I mean, I don't know. What else is there to say? This says so much about the federal workforce that this is even a news story. This is nuts. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
This was gimmicky. It's saying who is actually coming in. Lee Zeldin just required his workforce to come in on Fridays and Mondays.
That's something
that
talking about
hasn't.
Here.
But my point is, that's something that hasn't even been thought of in years.
You just acknowledged it was gimmicky by Elon Musk, like him going out on the CPAC stage with a chainsaw,
it's
jumping
in the
around
sense
like
that it's a funny
like a
way of
buffoon.
saying who's even
When people's
reading their
lives are on the
emails.
line here, their
Who's even reading their
livelihoods.
emails?
All right, hold on,
I
Scott.
think one other point, and this is the push and pull of when a Republican is the president. There's an attempt, when a Republican's in the White House, Donald Trump or any other Republican, to argue that these federal agencies, federal workers, the bureaucracy, sort of can act independently or autonomously from the political leadership of the country. And that's what's happening here. That's why everyone is melting down. That's why the lady came on CNN today. They don't want to answer the email because they don't want to answer to the president. And the message from Trump and Musk is we have political leaders in this country and you got to answer to it.
I'm not following you. Are you suggesting that it's only when Republicans are president that
100%.
Agencies express independence?
Yes,
Well, you know that
correct.
that's not true.
No, I know it is 100% true that the bureaucracy is not aligned with,
there
mostly
are career
not aligned
civil
with Republicans.
servants.
For a reason.
There are career civil.
To Scott's last point there, first of all, yeah, the bureaucracy of the federal government is massively left-leaning. I'm being real vague here because I just don't remember the exact specifics of when I did a story on it, but there was a poll after Donald Trump was elected, anonymously given to federal workers. It asked them, when Donald Trump's office asks you to do something, will you do it or will you do what you think is best? And overwhelmingly, I can't remember the percentage, but the federal worker participants said that they do what they think is best. So miss me with they're aligned the same with a liberal and a conservative president. It's just not true. But we want to hear from you. What do you all think about this letter and the uproar around it? Let us know in the comments. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.